Hey guys, Chris again from ClassicVWBugs.com, and in this tip I want to talk to you about how to adjust your Bowden tube. You see this little Bowden tube here that rides right next to the transmission, and this is what your clutch cable passes through to basically engage and disengage your clutch. But a lot of times you might have a chatter on first gear. When you're coming off first, you might feel the car bouncing up and down, and it could be because your Bowden tube needs to be adjusted, needs a bend in it. So what you're going to want to do is, of course, you're going to have to get underneath your car, unlike what we're doing here. We have a body off resto going on, and you're going to have to take off the butterfly wing nut that is on the end of the clutch cable. Now it's going to be a little more difficult to take this off when you're under the car, and you might even need a pair of vice grips to hold the cable in place so the wing nut can come off. Might even need some penetrating oil or some lubricant to get it off as well. This is a little easier for us because we have all new parts here. So take that butterfly off, and then you're going to want to push your clutch pedal forward. Now we can go a little more forward than normal because we don't have a firewall in place there, but push it all the way forward, and then take the cable out of the clutch arm. Now you're going to have to take the Bowden tube out of its position that's held on the tranny. Now this could be even more difficult while you're under the car, because if the Bowden tube's never been taken out of there, it could be really stuck, and you might need some heat, or you might need some good leverage to get that out. But what you want to do is take that out. Now that you have it out, you're going to have to get some spacers. Now we get these spacers from our shock kit. Those are really good, or you can use some nuts, or you can use just some plain old washers. Some thick washers. These are pretty good, and you're going to want to put it on the end of the Bowden tube. The spacers that come in the shock kit are great. They fit perfectly over the end of the Bowden tube. Please disregard that little fuel tank there. We are actually starting the motor on this chassis to see how it runs. So those spacers work perfectly over the Bowden tube. They fit nice. Now we used 3. We probably could have just used 2. But just for the demonstration, wanted to show you how this all is done. So then once you put those spacers on, then you want to reinsert it back into its position on the transmission. And now you see we have a bend in the tube. You want anywhere between, I guess, an inch or so, maybe 2 inches of bend. I mean, 2 inch might be a little excessive, but you need a little bit of a bend like that in that Bowden tube, so it keeps tension on that cable. Now you can move the clutch pedal forward, because we now have to reinsert it back through the eye hole on the clutch arm, and then you start putting your butterfly wing nut back on. Now again, you might want to lube up these threads once you had it out so this wing nut can get on a little bit easier. A lot of times this can be a real pain, and it's a very uncomfortable position when you're underneath the car trying to adjust this. That's why VW did most of their stuff when the body was off the chassis in the factory. If you had access to it back then, like this is the way to do it. So here's a pair of vice grips you might need, like I said, to hold the cable in place, because a lot of times that cable might be binding and it just will turn while you're turning the wing nut, and you don't want that. So then once you have adjusted it, you want about a ½ inch of free play in the pedal. We still have some more adjusting to do on this, but you get the idea. You need about a ½ inch of free play. You can't have it too tight. And then that's basically it. Any questions? Chris at ClassicVWBugs.com.